Hi there. Today's lesson is entitled Four Do's and Seven Don'ts. These are really critical things that if you do not do correctly, you're going to have your loan application rejected. Any of these things that we're going to be covering today are things that if you need to deal with them, you should deal with them well in advance of buying a home, at a minimum of 90 days before you're thinking about buying a home, but better would be 4 to 6 months. So let's kind of go over these. Again, if you ignore this advice, we believe that your mortgage is going to be declined. So the four do's. Do stay current on your existing credit accounts. Obviously, stay current on, keep making your payments you're making right now. Use your credit as you're using it today. Don't change your pattern. Changing a pattern can affect your credit score, and the credit bureaus and the methodology they use to calculate credit scores will pick up on that. Do call your loan officer early and often. Talk about anything that might be changing. They are your advocate. Make sure they know everything they can know about what you're up to. One key piece there is make your loan officer aware of any debt that may not appear. That is, may not appear on your credit report. Not everything shows up there, and many transactions have blown up because things that the client knew they didn't share with their loan officer. Things like tax liens, judgments, private debt, maybe old collection accounts. These things have a way of creeping up when you least expect them to pop up. So make sure you disclose them. There's a way to usually get around all those things. You just have to deal with them. So now let's move on to the things you don't want to do, and I mean just don't do these things. So don't move your money. Money has become a very big deal in lending, starting in 2012, and moving money around can result in time delays, explaining where it comes from. Every single deposit for more than $500 has to be explained to the lender, so be very careful about moving your money around. Do not apply for new credit. It should be obvious, but applying for new credit can negatively impact your credit score. Paying off collections. Do not pay off collections or charge-offs. This might seem sort of anti-intuitive, but the bottom line is paying off a collection actually can result in pulling down your credit score because it looks like it's a new activity. An old collection account that's dormant is better than a new one that's been paid off. Don't close any of your credit cards accounts. Credit card accounts that if you reduce your overall limit, credit available limit, if it increases the amount of debt it looks like you're using. If you're using $3,000 of credit card debt against a $10,000 balance and you reduce it or close an account that has a $5,000 limit, then all of a sudden you're going to drop to 3,000 of 10,000. That's going to go to 3,000 of 5,000. It goes from 30% to 60%, and it gets very, very expensive to your credit score. Don't max out or overuse your credit cards. Again, we said earlier, just do what you're doing. It'll be fine. Do not max out your credit cards. Consolidating your debt is another thing that happens all the time. People want to consolidate debt to reduce their payments. This can be a good strategy at a certain time, but not when you're buying a home or looking at refinancing a home. Consolidating your debt looks like new debt, so you don't want to do that. And last, but certainly not least, do not quit your job. This happens more often than you can believe. Should be obvious, but it's not. All right, great. Hope you enjoyed this day's lesson.